Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back, as always, to another video on the channel. It's Ansonex, and today I want to make a little bit of a follow-up video on my Deadlock Has a Problem video from about a month ago and talk about the matchmaking woes that people have kind of been experiencing from prior to and since then. And to jump right into it, if you recall in that video, I said that Deadlock's player count dropping was not a problem, or at least in terms of a problem for the development team, and I stand by that. But since then, the lower player count is officially impacting the quality of games, and it's helping to drive away some of the players that are leaving the game. And today we're going to talk about why that is and what Valve can do to stop the matchmaking woes, why I think you're wrong about bringing ranked mode back, and what this growing pain, or maybe a shrinking pain, will mean for the game long term. And if you want a TLDR, the wide party matchmaking is the real culprit here, guys. As it was in the earlier matchmaking controversy, it's just not as obvious. Us enduring these struggles now, though, with the matchmaking are going to ensure that the experience is not this when the game launches, which is obviously the much more important phase. And to start, though, guys, Deadlock has a very complicated just baseline matchmaking system. There's no draft, so you have to get 12 people to select their characters by preference, and Valve has to match all those people that allow for the 12 people to play a selected hero. And the game works pretty hard to get you your purple choice, right? And they also then, after they do that, have to find a relatively similar skill level of players that also checks that first box of playing your preferred characters. And so under good conditions, this really isn't much of a problem, but quote, good conditions for matchmaking, they might not be the same of what good conditions for fun are. And what I mean by this is I mean that the wide skill range party matchmaking, which are the conditions that many, if not most casual players are playing under, is tanking the game quality. So let's just look at my party, for example, right? The guys that I play with normally. My two friends, they are hand and feet better than the rest of us who play, and they're in Oracle. Then myself and my other buddy, we float around in Emissary. And then we have two other friends who play in Arcanist and Alchemist lobbies who are getting better, but that's where they've been at for their first 80 or so hours. And you don't need me to tell you about how the Arcanist and Alchemist perform in our types of lobbies. And that leads to people who aren't in the party making posts like this on the subreddit. And this person has been put into a wide skill range match and they don't realize it. And when this happens now, people wonder how they get matched with these kinds of players. They throw their hands up in the air and make useless Reddit posts like this about it. But if you recall, a couple patches ago, maybe even prior to rank being introduced, if Valve determined your party had a wide skill range, you were segregated into lobbies with other wide skill range parties. And the game gave you a pop-up message saying, hey, this is a wide skill variety. The lower skilled players are going to have a tougher time than everybody else. And I thoroughly believe this message and the system should be brought back. It'll help mitigate the posts that we talked about and keep fair expectations for those in the wide range parties. And the core issue when you break it down is that through ranked mode being introduced and this message being removed, people have been led to believe that the matchmaking system was in a very good state, which was never the case. Ranked mode forced you to play under ideal matchmaking conditions, and the wide skill mode warned you when you weren't in those conditions. Now, players are left in the dark to wonder if or why they're queued with a wide mix of ranks. And speaking of ranked, I'm pretty happy that ranked is dead for the foreseeable future. People have already forgotten why ranked was removed in the first place, and that's to recombine the queues to have a larger pool to pull better quality matches. Splitting the queues made it way more difficult to find quality matches, and this is also why Hero Labs was quietly returned to 7 to 11 p.m. again. I want to reiterate a point, though, that I've made in my prior videos. This is a really necessary growing pain of the game. Deadlock is a ton of fun. I've sunk over 300 hours into it over the past 4 months. I love the characters, I love the map, the general gameplay loop, all of that. And it makes it really easy to forget that this game is essentially an invite-only playtest, not even an alpha or early access. And at this point, there are 25,000 average concurrent players a day, down from 170,000 at its peak when it was under the game of the week status, if you will, when all the streamers were playing it. And so it's safe to say that the majority of the players that are still playing is a relatively core fan base that's going to stay with the game for a long time. And I also somewhat assume that if you made it this far in the video. But just remember, guys, that us dealing with these matches now is data for Valve that'll go towards it not being an issue when there are a million people playing this game on launch and it's absolutely plastered everywhere on the Steam store page. And it's the same thing with kind of how we had to deal with Haze for 2 weeks and we got a nerf. We have to deal with some poor matchmaking for things to get better for everybody. Valve isn't idiots, guys. They understand the issue that we are having as a player base, and they'll see videos like these, the posts that are infecting the subreddit, all of that. And so that's kind of all I got for you this time, guys. It's a growing pain, but we are going to get on through it. And so if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy hearing me talk about Deadlock, give my opinion on where things are at, I would very much appreciate if you would subscribe subscribe or comment down and tell me how I'm wrong if you feel so. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic week. I will see you again next weekend. Peace.